What follows are the late notes of a man who refused both the church and the cliff. His name was Albert Camus. He was a French Algerian novelist and a resistance fighter who wrote in cafes and slept in borrowed rooms and became, at 44, the second youngest man ever to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. 3 years after that, he died in a car crash on a quiet road outside a village in France, 46 years old, with an unused train ticket in his coat pocket. He had meant to take the train. The train was safer. He took the car anyway. He wrote The Stranger. He wrote The Plague. He wrote The Myth of Sisyphus. He rejected the priests, and he rejected the nihilists with the same shrug. And then he went back to work. He called the human condition absurd. He also refused to surrender to it, and he refused so stubbornly that the refusal became the whole of his philosophy. What you are about to hear is not a lecture. It is a man at a cafe table at 2 a.m. telling you the truth, because the hour has stopped allowing lies. He will name the bleakness first. Then he will refuse it. Listen. It is early evening in Paris. Rain is running on the window in long, cold lines. The cigarette beside the empty wine glass has been burning for a while. The waiter has not yet started stacking chairs. Outside, the pavement is black and shining, and people walk past without looking in. At this table, there is enough quiet to begin. Start with the thing you have been avoiding all week, which is the silence at 3 a.m. You have been waiting for the universe to tell you what your day is for. It will not. It is not being cruel. It is not withholding an answer. There is no answer to withhold. The silence at 3 a.m. is not a bug in the system. It is the system. Do not call that despair. That is just the first honest sound you have heard in a year. The absurd is the collision between your hunger for meaning and a world that shrugs back at you. You can lie about it. You can pretend some hand is writing the script. Or you can live inside the collision with both eyes open. That is what I am asking of you. Not courage, lucidity. Nothing cosmic is going to validate today. Pick one thing that matters to you, only to you, and do it with your whole body before the light changes. That is the first work of any honest day. Now the screen. It is 11:47 p.m. and the screen has become a second eyelid. You are not watching anything. You are letting light fall on your face so you do not have to hear the room. I know this because I have done it. Not with a phone, with bottles. Bottles of bad red wine, bought on the way home from another evening I could not bear to enter sober. But the mechanism is the same. You are building a little fog machine and crawling inside it because the fog is warmer than the room. This is what I came to call philosophical suicide, the refusal to stay awake inside your own life. It is quieter than jumping off a bridge. The body goes on eating and sleeping and answering emails while the person inside it has already slipped under. The absurd does not ask you to suffer. It asks you to see. Tonight, replace 1 hour of the usual numbing with 1 hour of silence. No screen, no drink. Let the discomfort walk into the room and sit down across from you. Hear what it came to say. The silence will not kill you. It will only tell you where you have been hiding. And then there is Sisyphus, the man the gods punished with a boulder that never stays up. You think you know the story. You think the punishment is the pushing. It is not. The punishment is the walk back down. The few minutes when he sees the stone at the bottom of the hill again and knows the whole day is going to happen to him again and again, and there will never be a morning where the stone is at the top and he is done. That is the punishment. That is also where he is free, because he can choose what his face looks like on that walk. He can choose whether the walk is a defeat or a breath. Your boulder has a name: a job, a child, a manuscript, a debt, a recovery from a thing you will not say out loud. It will roll back. The summit was always a lie. The walk is yours. Face the boulder. Then find one small moment inside the push today that you would not trade for anyone else's day. 1. That is enough to begin. The cafe is emptier now. The waiter is stacking chairs behind him, metal legs catching the lamps. The wine glass is still empty. One last cigarette. The window shows wet pavement and a single figure under a street lamp, not moving. He has been sitting here long enough to know what he thinks. Now he puts it down. There is no script. Read that again. No God is handing out parts. No algorithm is coming to cast you in a better life. No ancestor left a map under the floorboards of the house you grew up in. The page is blank, and it is yours. That is not the tragedy you were taught it was. That is the only freedom a person ever gets. Nihilism says nothing matters, so why try, and pours another drink. That is a lazy reading and a lazy drink. The absurd says nothing is handed down, so everything you choose is real. The rock is yours. The day is yours. The shape of the life is yours. Write one line today that only you would write. A sentence, a sketch, a phone call you have been avoiding for a month. Do it without explaining it to anyone, including yourself. The blank page has never been your enemy. The blank page is the first honest thing that ever met you at eye level. Now the harder part, which is the world. I have seen men and women give up on the world because the world deserved it. I understood them. Some days I still do. I grew up in a century that burned itself twice and called it progress. And I know the temptation to fold the paper and walk away from a headline. But I will tell you what I learned in the wreckage. Despair is a private act. Revolt is not. The moment you stand shoulder to shoulder with one other person who refuses the same injustice, the absurd loses its grip on the room for an hour. You do not need a cause big enough to win. You need one small enough to show up for. A meeting, a letter, a shift at the shelter, a name you refuse to let be erased from the ledger. Pick one this week. Show up once. The match lights the next match. That is the only arithmetic of hope I have ever trusted, and I trusted it in rooms where the ceiling was falling in. And last, because the hour is late and you are tired, the small proof. There is bread on your counter. There is sun on the floor by the window in the morning. You walked past both of them on your way to worry about a thing you cannot solve before lunch. Here is the bleak part. No one is keeping score. The comfortable life you built is not a down payment on a feeling. It does not owe you joy. The absurd does not give you joy either. But the sun on your arm at a bus stop, a slice of bread broken with your hands, a friend across the table with wine in the glass and something honest in their mouth. These are not small. These are the only proof you will ever get that the world is worth staying awake for. Eat one meal today without a screen and without a hurry. Taste every bite as if it were your last in Algiers. Because one of them will be. The rock rolls back, and the sun still warms your arm on the walk down. That is enough. That has always been enough. I am going now. The waiter wants his chairs. The rain has stopped, and the street outside is shining black under the lamps. The rock is still there on the hill with my name on it, and with your name next to mine. I am going back to push it. I am going to love the walk down, even though the walk down is the worst part. I am going to watch the sun come up in the morning, because the sun does not owe me a morning and still arrives. The stranger at the cafe table is happy. That is not a promise. That is a decision he makes before he opens the door. Make yours.